Good evening, lovely humans. Please take your seats and silence your devices. The Hugo Awards ceremony will begin soon. Please welcome to the stage Professor Esther McCallum-Stewart, the chair of Glasgow 2024, a Worldcon for our futures.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Esther McCallum-Stewart, and I am the chair for Glasgow 2024. Whether you're here in person or you're viewing online, it is my sincere honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the Hugo Awards ceremony. So, this year, we've changed things up a bit. So you may have noticed already that some of the awards and other items that you might normally see at the Hugo Awards ceremony have been shifted, so they're in the opening and closing ceremonies, as well as to our memorial garden in the exhibits hall. And that's because we've decided to make these changes in order to put more focus on the Hugo ceremony and the finalists themselves. So, yeah. So tonight's event is a celebration of the science fiction, fantasy, and fanish activities that have been produced or taken place in 2023. The Hugo Awards are one of the highest honors within fandom, with this year's rocket base being designed by artist Ian J. Clarke. The Hugos will weather the storms inside and outside of fandom because of our collective dedication to elevating the best of what our field has to offer to our community, to fandom, and to general audiences around the world. We have committed to administrating them with transparency and integrity. This is especially important as they're made possible because of you, your nominations, and your votes for the finalists. These awards have been chosen by you, but they belong to all of us collectively, and I could not be more proud to welcome all of our finalists here tonight to celebrate their work, their dedication, their talent at bringing their imaginations to life. And whilst I'm really excited to find out who's won tonight, I also wish to congratulate every finalist. What an achievement, you know, that's amazing. Tonight we celebrate you. So thank you for every word, every image, every laugh, and every tear that you've given us over the last year. Our ceremony will begin with a short presentation by author John Scalzi, followed by the presentation of the awards, which will be presented by this year's guests. And we're also featuring a new award category, Best Game or Interactive Work, which is... And this is particularly dear to me as I'm a professor of games studies. That's amazing. It's really fantastic to see games and interactive works leveling up. Now, without without further ado, I would like to introduce author, past Hugo finalist, current Hugo Award finalist, winner, loser, previous award MC, and banging DJ, John Scalzi. John.
Hello, I am John Scalzi, and I have been tasked with giving you an overview with everything about the Hugo in just under 5 minutes. So let's see how I do. Come with us now to 1953 and the Philadelphia World Science Fiction Convention, where an exciting innovation is taking place, the Achievement Awards in Science Fiction. The PhilCon 2 program assures us that a large range of categories have been chosen, and the awards themselves have been prepared at considerable expense. And that if people like them, maybe the event will be successful enough to merit becoming an annual affair. which it did, but not in 1954, because that year's Worldcon skipped it. But in 1955, the awards happened again, and as they say in fandom, if you do something once, it becomes a tradition, and if you do it twice, it becomes a hallowed tradition. The Achievement Award quickly garnered the nickname of the Hugo after publisher Hugo Gernsback, and in the tradition of award names like Oscar and Tony and Emmy, it was so widely known by that Hugo nickname that in 1992, it became the official name of the award. Now, in the first years of the Hugo, I picked that clip art. In the first years of the Hugo Award, anyone could vote for the award, and everyone just voted for what they liked, and the results were tallied up, and the winner was whoever or whatever got the most votes. But as the years went on, other bits were added in, but it was all up to the individual Worldcons. In the 60s, actual Hugo rules were added as part of the World Science Fiction Society Constitution, limiting voting to Worldcon members, adding a nomination voting stage, and instituting a process to add and delete award categories and allow individual Worldcons to name special Hugo Awards. Currently, there are 18 annual Hugo Award categories, the finalists for which are chosen through a nomination phase, for which a special selection algorithm known as E Pluribus Hugo is applied, selecting 6 finalists for each category. The next award phase uses the instant runoff voting technique instituted in 1968 to determine winners. These voting procedures are also used for the Astounding and Lodestar Awards, which are given during the Hugo Award ceremony, but are not. That's right. Does this sound complicated? Well, that's because it is. That's because we are nerds and we love fiddly bits, and also as nerds, we truly want the award process to reflect the will of the Worldcon fandom. Now, the Hugo Award is regarded as the preeminent speculative fiction award by the press, by the publishing world and the reading public, and by science fiction and fantasy fandom. The list of Hugo winners, past and present, is a who's who in the history of the genre. Asimov, Bester, Herbert, Heinlein, Le Guin, Haldeman, Willis, Butler, Gibson, Bujold, Clark, a different Clark, and Jemison, all for starters. It's long been said that if you want to know the state of speculative fiction, look at this year's finalists in the Hugos. And like any prominent award, there have been controversies literally from the beginning when Forrest J. Ackerman refused the very first Hugo Award ever presented and left it on the stage. In 1970s, Hugo voters employed the no award option twice in the Best Dramatic Presentation category. In the 1980s, voting irregularities caused the novel Black Genesis to be the first novel voted below no award and caused another novel, The Guardsman, to be withdrawn from the final ballot. The mid-2010s saw a concerted effort to push entire slates of nominees onto finalist lists to great opposition. And just this last year, the highly irregular and almost certainly censorious nomination process ended with the censure of Hugo and WSFS administrators. We celebrate the Hugos and those who win and are finalists for them. But even more, when there are stumbles and controversies, we work to correct them. The Hugos are preeminent not because everybody says they are, but because as a community we care about them and care that they truly represent us. Now, as you may know, I have been nominated for some Hugos and have even won a few, and I am here to tell you it never gets old. Is it an ego boost? Yes, it is. But possibly for different reasons than you might think. It means that the Worldcon fandom believes that what you are doing is worth celebrating. It means getting to meet a peer group of other incredible finalists in your category and outside of it, with whom you get to share this wonderful ride. And it is a reminder that what we do, what we write, matters outside of our own head. And it means that you might have to figure out a way to get on a plane with something shaped like a rocket which is always fun. We get to be finalists, and maybe we get to be winners. But it is you who make the Hugos matter. Your love of them, your care for them, and your desire to celebrate the best of speculative fiction every year. The Hugo story starts and ends with fandom. And so let me say to you, thank you. Now, please welcome this year's Hugo Administrator, Nicholas White, who will share some of the numbers for this year's vote. Nicholas, come on down.
John, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Very well done.
Yes. Thank you. I must say it's thrilling to be reminded of the 70 Hugo ceremonies that have taken place before this one. It's 19 years since I attended my first Hugo ceremony here in Glasgow in this room, sitting more or less where you're sitting, just up there. The very first Hugo Award ever presented back on the 6th... Oops. The very first Hugo Award ever presented back on the 6th of September 1953, as John said, went to Forrest J. Ackerman for being the #1 fan personality, and was presented to him by Isaac Asimov. When Ackerman left it on the stage, it actually came to England to the British fan Ken Slater, who eventually gave it back to Ackerman, and earlier this year it passed into the hands of the Worldcon Historical Organization, who have very kindly lent it to me for this evening. This is the very first Hugo Award ever. And you'll be able to see it tomorrow at Hall 4 at the Worldcon Historical Organization display. I'm sure some of you have already seen it, but I'm honored and thrilled to be able to show it to you tonight. So this year, the Hugo Awards received 1,720 votes at nomination stage, which is the 8th highest on record, higher than any year before 2013. We received 3,813 final ballots. Unfortunately, as you're probably aware, we had to disqualify 377 of those votes, which were clearly cast fraudulently. That still left 3,436 votes, the third highest ever. Most of those votes were electronic, but we had 5 paper votes for nominations. And we had another 5 paper votes for the final ballot. We know who you are. At the nomination stage, the last place in 4 out of 20 categories was decided by a margin of 1 vote. 1 category on the final ballot was decided by a margin of 6 votes, and 2 more by margins of 7 votes. As I like to say, every vote counts, and every legitimate vote was counted. Well, thank you. Putting this together for you has been a massive team effort, and I want to start by thanking Cassidy, who's been my deputy as Hugo Administrator, Catherine Duval, who's been my deputy as WSFS Division Head, Laura Martinch, who with Cassidy and Catherine was on the Hugo Administration Subcommittee, the Eligibility Research Team, Claire Briley, Arthur Liu, Mark Plummer, Regina Caillou Wang, Alyssa Wales, and Fergal White, our help desk team, Terry Neal and Rosemary Parks, our software wizards, Chris Rose and David Matthewman, the announcement video team, Meg MacDonald and James Turner, the Hugo Voter Packet team, Dave Gallagher, Jed Hartman, Scott Bobo, our local Glasgow wrangler, Bridget Chi, our Chinese translator, Sophia Shui, and the translators who made the works of finalists available to the WSFS membership, Randall Shepherd for managing finalist liaison and also for running this ceremony this evening with the rest of the events team, who you can find listed on the back of your booklet, and Esther for everything. Please, can you show your appreciation for everyone who's made this evening what it is? Thank you. With that, it is my honor to introduce our first presenter in this ceremony, celebrating the best of the genre for the year. Please welcome multiple Hugo Award-winning author and Glasgow 2024 Guest of Honour, Nnedi Okorafor.
Good evening. Okay, the teleprompter's not working. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you tonight to announce the first award of the night. The Astounding Award for Best New Writer is currently administered by the World Science Fiction Society and is awarded by Dell Magazines. The Astounding Award for Best New Writer is given to the best new science fiction and fantasy writer whose first work of science fiction or fantasy was published in a professional publication in 2022 or 2023. This year's finalists are
Monoquill Black Goose, first year of eligibility. Sun Yi Dean, second year of eligibility. Ai Jiang, second year of eligibility. Hannah Kainer, first year of eligibility. MX Liu, first year of eligibility. Xiran J. Zhao, eligibility extended at request of Dell Magazines.
And the winner of this year's Astounding Award for Best New Writer is ooh, everyone's watching. Feels good. Shiran J. Gao.
Am I allowed to take a picture from here?
Yeah,
Hold on.
let's do it.
Hi, everyone. This is literally the POV of when you win not a Hugo Award voted on exclusively by Hugo voters. Hello. Yes. So thank you all. I know that you all voted for me only because you felt bad for me, because yes, they say that the Hugo Awards has weathered many storms, and I am one such storm. So yes, I was one of those people who got disqualified for no reason last year. And I just would like to thank Dell Magazines for extending my eligibility, because last year was the last year that I was eligible for this award. So this is an opportunity that I didn't think I would get to have. And I am just so overwhelmed right now, because lately I have not been given many reasons to have hope, but just the community, of course, this outpouring of support is just so touching to me. And then while I have this platform, I would like to bring attention to the conditions in the Gaza Strip right now. Yeah. So right now, I am in communication with about 8 families in the Gaza Strip. And right now conditions, the average temperature is like 34 degrees, and they are living in tents, and many of their children are breaking out in hives because they have no air conditioning, no running water, and it's just terrible. And if you go onto any of my social media profiles, I have a link tree where I list all of those campaigns that I'm currently fundraising for. And also, Palestinians also require our support once there are some who have made it out of Gaza and are in Egypt right now, and many of them have no source of income at all, and they also require our support. So please donate to those campaigns if you are able to, and may Palestinians live free in dignity. Thank you.
Wait. Two things. One, you should take this. Two, it's my pleasure to present to you the newly reforged Astounding Tiara, or diadem if you want to be technical about it, whose original version did not survive a trip from the Australian Post.
Oh.
I hope there's not too much of my hair left in this, but wear it in good health, and congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to try and put this on. I'm going to do my best. I think it will make it all the way down the stairs.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Here you go.
I'm sorry,
Here
my
you
hair
go.
is too fancy for this.
Okay. All right. Our next award is the Lodestar Award for Best YA Book for a book published for young adult readers in the field of science fiction and fantasy. This year's finalists are
Ebony's Song by P. Jelly Clark, Starscape. Liberty's Daughter by Naomi Kritzer, Fairwood Press. Promises Stronger Than Darkness by Charlie Jane Anders, Tor T. The Sinister Booksellers of Bath by Garth Nix, Catherine Tagan Books, HarperCollins, Golanx, and Allen and Unwin. To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monoquill Blackgoose, Del Rey. Unraveller by Frances Harding, Macmillan Children's Books.
And the winner of this year's Lodestar Award for Best YA Book is Monoquill Blackgoose. All right. So unfortunately, Monoquill could not be here tonight. The committee happily accepts this award on her behalf and will make sure that she gets it. Thank you, everyone. Now I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Megan Christian, a European Space Agency Reserve astronaut and commercial exploration lead at the UK Space Agency.
Thank you so much, Nedi. It is such an honor to be here representing the UK Space Agency and the European Space Agency at the Hugos. I grew up traveling this universe and others through sci-fi and fantasy, and the fact that I may actually become a space explorer in the coming years has its roots in that inspiration. So I'm very excited to introduce our next two awards, the first of which is Best Fan Artist. The Best Fan Artist is an artist or cartoonist whose work has been published in fanzines, semi-prozines, or through any other public, non-professional display, including conventions, in 2023. This year's finalists are
Ian J. Clark, Sarah Felix, Dante Louise, Leah Rose, Alison Scott, Espana Sheriff.
And the winner for Best Fan Artist is Leah Rose. All right, we will go to the next award. Yeah, congratulations again to Leia. The next award is Best Fan Writer. The Best Fan Writer is any person whose writing has appeared in semi-prozines or fanzines or in generally available electronic media during 2023. And the finalists are
Peter Carella, James Davis Nichol, Jason Sanford, Alistair Stewart, Paul Weimer, and Urian Weston.
And the winner is, for Best Fan Writer, Paul Weimer.
Hi. I'm supposed to say, well, I guess I wasn't ineligible this year, right? Oh, God, I didn't really make a speech, so I'm going to wing this. I got into fan writing seriously about the same time I got into photography seriously, and I think they're both similar, as some people have pointed out to me. I put spotlights on things. I look at things. I say, hey, see this, read this. You want to read this. This is yours. This is part of our science fiction community. This is part of our science fiction conversation. We've had problems last year with that conversation being stilled. We've had stuff in the past, as Mr. Scalzi has said, and I think this award is just part of me being part of that conversation. I would like to thank everybody who has helped and supported my fan writing, from John Gennardo and Patrick Hester back in the Functional Nerds and SF Signals days, all the way through people like Christina Orlando, my team at Nerds of a Feather, my team at Skippy and Fancy, my team at Reactor, Tor, every place where I've written fan writing, because you all know I read and write a lot. So thank you all so much. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God.
Congratulations, and thank you so much, everyone. Now, I'd like to introduce Kat Clay, the GUF delegate.
Thank you so much, Megan. For those of you wondering what a GUF delegate is, GUF, known as the Get Up and Over Fan Fund, or the Going Under Fan Fund, depending on which way you're going, was created in 1979 to provide funds to enable well-known fans from Australia and Australasia and Europe to visit each other's national conventions and to get to know each other's fandoms better. The various fan funds, including GUF, Transatlantic Fan Fund, the Down Under Fan Fund, and many others, exist solely through the support of fans like you. On behalf of all the Fan Fund delegates, now and past and future delegates, I sincerely thank you. I am delighted to be this year's delegate to represent Australasia at this year's Hugo Awards ceremony. Now, our next award is for Best Fancast. The Best Fancast is any generally available non-professional audio or visual periodical devoted to science fiction, fantasy, or related subjects that by the close of 2023 has released 4 or more episodes, at least one of which appeared in 2023, and that does not qualify as a dramatic presentation. This year's finalists are
The Coode Street Podcast, presented by Jonathan Strand and Gary K. Wolfe. Hugo Stair, presented by Seth Heasley. Octothorpe, by John Coxon, Alison Scott, and Liz Batty. Publishing Rodeo, presented by Sun E. Dean and Scott Drakeford. 科幻 fans 不马 Science fiction fans 不马 Production team 不马刘露刘畅 World building for masochists, presented by Marsha Ryan Maresca, Rowena Miller, Cass Morris, and Natanya Barron.
And the winner for Best Fancast, I should let you applaud first, sorry. And the winner for Best Fancast is Octothorpe by John Coxon, Alison Scott, and Liz Batty.
So I'm always the first on the Zoom call. And Alison's usually the last. Okay.
There's an order, right?
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Octothorpe Award acceptance speech. I'm John Coxon.
Oh, God. I'm Alison Scott.
And I'm Liz Batty.
I'd like to thank everyone who nominated and voted for us and everyone who nominated and voted in the fan categories generally. I'd like to thank my wife, Hispania Sheriff. I'd like to thank my mum and dad and my family. I'd like to thank Claire Brierley. I've said it right more times than I've said it wrong now, Claire, so that debt is settled. I'd like to thank Mark Plummer, Chris Garcia, Tobes Valois, Max Hagden, the Hugo Girl podcast, and Third Row Fandom in general for encouraging my fanac and keeping me enthused about the community. Thank you so much. I'm so honoured.
I'd also like to thank my family, Stephen, Marianne, and Jonathan Kane, for being endlessly long-suffering. For all of the Plocked Collective, that's Steve Davis, Julia de Cesare, Mike Scott, Flick, Sue Mason, and the previously mentioned Keynes, for modelling collaborative fanac, and for the whole of fandom for keeping coming up with interesting things for us to talk about.
So 19 years ago, I attended my very first Worldcon, and I sat somewhere way out in the back over there. So to win in Glasgow is really special for me. I want to thank my family. I want to thank John, who came up with the idea for a podcast. I want to thank Alison, who does the art for our podcast every time. And I want to thank all those friends that I made in Glasgow, many of whom are still here with me, and to thank everyone who couldn't be here today. And finally, I really do want to thank our listeners. Without them, they wouldn't be here tonight. Thank you.
John wants this one carried down because he's going to drop it. So. The final Hugo Award in the fan category is Best Fanzine. The Best Fanzine Award is for anything that is neither professional nor semi-professional and that does not qualify as a fan cast. The publication must also have produced a minimum of 4 issues, at least one of which must have appeared in 2023. The finalists for the Best Fanzine Hugo Award are
Black Nerd Problems, editors Omar Holman and William Evans. The Full Lid, written by Alistair Stewart and edited by Marguerite Kenner. Idea, editor Jerry Sullivan. Journey Planet, edited by Michael Carroll, Vincent Doherty, Sarah Felix, Angry, Sarah Gouldy, Alison Hartman Adams, Arthur Liu, Jean Martin, Helena Nash, Porrick O'Mallard, Yen Oy, Chuck Surface, Alan Stewart, Regina Canyu Wang, James Bacon, and Chris Garcia. Nerds of a Feather flocked together. Editors Rosanna Pendlebury, Arturo Serrano, Paul Weimer, senior editors Joe Sherry, Adri Joy, G. Brown, Vance Cotterla. Unofficial Hugo Book Club blog. Editors Olaf Rockney and Amanda Walkerrook.
And the winner for Best Fanzine is Best Fanzine, Nerds of a Feather Flock Together. Editors Rosanna Pendlebury, Arturon, Shirano, Paul Weimer, senior editors Joe Sherry, Adri Joy G. Brown, and Vance Catrola.
Hi, Cal. It's nice to see you. Congratulations. Hi, Joe. I know, I want to. Hugo.
Fancy seeing you here again, Paul. Oh God, I best get the speech up. So before Adri gets to the bulk of our speech, I just want to add my own personal thank you to my partner Ed, who is somewhere over there, without whom I would not be on Nerds of Feather because he keeps finding opportunities and telling me to apply to them. He did the hard bit, I just did the reviewing and editing. Also to every member of the reviewing community that our work exists in conversation with, because reviews cannot exist in a vacuum. Thank you. I would like to say a huge personal thank you, first of all, to my parents who are sitting in the front row. They've taken a long trip up from Cambridgeshire in a motorhome with 2 dogs who are currently sitting in the car park in order to see their daughter in a jellyfish hat winning a science fiction award. So thank you very much. I love you. This would not have happened without you. I want to also say thank you to my online communities, especially Sparkle Rocket, the Cannibal Cult, and the Subjective Chaos Gang, for just being the most amazing, supportive friends and always having the right opinions, even when they're also very wrong. As a team, we'd like to thank everyone who makes Nerds of a Feather happen. So my fellow editors, Joe, Arturo, and Paul, 2 of whom are here. Founders G and Vance, obviously Rosanna, who also just spoke, and also our 2023 contributors, Alex Wallace, Anne-Michelle Harris, Chris Garcia, Clara Cohen, Dean E.S. Richard, Elizabeth Fitzgerald, Haley Zapal, Joe Del Franco, and Phoebe Wagner. Some of them may be in here, some of them are sensibly watching this from the bar. You're all amazing, this award is for you. While I'm here, I want to use this platform to note that we're gathered here at a time of particular national shame for the UK. Decades of xenophobic, racist, and anti-Muslim rhetoric in this country has, in the past couple of weeks, spilled over into far-right violence and pogroms against refugees and migrants, especially in England and Northern Ireland. And this has been fueled by misinformation and hate speech from the political elites in this country. I believe that everything we do as creators and fans of SFF is political, no matter where we are in the world. And I'm very proud to be part of SFF fan communities that stand opposed to that kind of hatred and which seek to promote diversity and redress historic imbalances in our field, however small and imperfect our efforts may be. I take this award as a challenge to recommit to my own actions, to push back against racism, xenophobia, transphobia, and marginalization in all its forms, in whatever small ways I can make a difference, and I invite you all to do the same. And finally, I want to give one personal opinion, which is that Neil Gaiman can fuck off into the sun. Thank you.
We're in the efforts of retrieving an additional Hugo Award. Please hold. I'm sincerely sorry for that, Paul. This has been such a wonderful set of finalists and winners, and I'd like you to really give them another round of applause for all the fan winners. On behalf of all the fan delegates, both past and present, thank you for having us join this wonderful ceremony. I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Glasgow 2024, a Worldcon for our futures. Guest of honour, Chris Baker, also known as Fangorn. He is an acclaimed British science fiction award-winning artist whose work has graced the covers of many of our genre's most beloved novels, including Robert Asprin's Myth series, as well as work on numerous major motion pictures for visionary directors such as Steven Spielberg, Tim Burton, and Stanley Kubrick. Please help me welcome Fangorn to the stage.
I'm already here.
You're here.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. Good evening, all. Kat, thanks you so much for that introduction. It's an honor to be here tonight. Nerve-wracking as hell. I'm not a public speaker. I just stay at home and draw. Anyway, I'm delighted to introduce the next Hugo Award category, Best Semi-prozine. To qualify for the Best Semi-prozine category, a publication must meet at least one of the following criteria. First, the publication pays its contributors and or staff in other than copies of the publication. And second, the publication was generally available only for paid purchase. The finalists for the Best Semi-prozine Hugo Award are
Escape Pod editors Merle Lafferty and Valerie Valdez, assistant editors Benjamin C. Kinney, Premi Mohammed and Kevin Wabonsi, hosts Tina Connolly and Alistair Stewart, producers Summer Brooks and Adam Pratt, and the entire Escape Pod team.
Okay.
Fire Literary Magazine, publisher and executive editor Devon Sanders, poetry editor B. Charisse Moore, special projects manager L.D. Lewis, art director Christian Ivey, acquiring editors Rebecca McGee, Karine Wint, Joshua Morley, Amelia Harrington, Janine Tyson, Tonya R. Moore, sponsor coordinator Nelson Rowland. Giganotosaurus, editor LaShawn M. Wanak, associate editors Miat Signed Edgar Wentz, along with the GNS Slush Readers team. Correo, produced by Team Correo. Strange Horizons by the Strange Horizons Editorial Collective. Uncanny Magazine, publishers and editors-in-chief Lynn M. Thomas and Michael Damian Thomas, managing editor Monty Lynn, non-fiction editor Meg Elison, podcast producers Erica Ensign and Stephen Shapansky.
And that is it. And the winner for Best Semi-prozine is Strange Horizons by the Strange Horizons Editorial Collective! Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
There we go. Who's going to take this?
Thank you so much for this tremendous honour and recognition. To everyone in this room and everyone watching online who has read or listened to our work, who supported our authors and artists through our fundraising, who nominated and voted for us, thank you so much. And to our fellow nominees, thank you for giving us so much excellent work to read and listen to and aspire to. To even be listed among you all has been an honour in itself. Strange Horizons is a global collective, and we try to reflect this in the fiction, non-fiction, poetry and art that we publish. We are the largest group of people to be nominated for a Hugo Award, and now to have won it, And that's because we believe that everyone's work is equally crucial to making a magazine like this happen. From our incredible team of first readers, to the fiction and poetry editors, to the podcast team, to our review editors, and the guest editors of our special issues, it took a village of nearly 100 volunteers to raise this baby. To everyone in our team who couldn't be here today, and this is for you. And finally, we wouldn't be who we were without the incredible fiction, non-fiction, poetry, and art that comes through our submissions page. We like to think we give the next new voices in the genre a platform for their weird and wonderful stories and art, and are very often the first to publish new writers from outside the global north. So if you're sitting there with a weird story or poem in your head, something that reflects your culture and experience that maybe makes you think, no one would read this, or no one would care, know that we care very much. So finish that story, polish that poem, and send it to us. We can't wait to see what you have in store. We also want to say a word about our colleagues and friends in Palestine. Strange Horizons supports the Palestinian people's right to justice, freedom, equality, and self-determination. At this time, we'd advocate reading and centering Palestinian people, their writing and reporting, and what they are asking of us as a global community. Thank you all again.
Okay, now for my personal favourite, fairly obviously. Hugo Award category, Best Professional Artist. The Best Professional Artist is an illustrator whose work has appeared in a professional publication in the field of science fiction or fantasy during the 2023 calendar year. A professional publication is one that meets at least one of the following criteria. The publication providing at least a quarter of the income for any one person, or the publication was owned or published by an entity which provided at least a quarter of the income of any of its staff and or owner. And Esther insisted that I say all of that. The finalists for Best Professional Artist are
Michaela Alcano, Rovina Kai, Galen Dara, Dan Dos Santos, Tristan Elwell, Alyssa Winans.
Okay. That was quick. And the winner for the Best Professional Artist Hugo Award is Rovian Kai. That's it. Rovian Kai. I apologize. Okay. Who unfortunately isn't here to accept the award, so I guess the committee will accept it on her behalf, or on their behalf. For our next awards, please welcome guest of honour, Catherine Haymans. She is the Astronomer Royal for Scotland and is a Professor of Observational Cosmology at the University of Edinburgh, who will be joining us via a pre-recorded video. Please welcome Catherine.
Roshi Chen, Lindsay Hall, Lee Harris, Kelly Lonesome.
I don't know what happened. What happened to Catherine? Okay. I guess that I'm...
Michaela Alcano,
I guess...
Rovina Kai, Galen Dara, Dan Dos Santos, Tristan Elwell, Alyssa Winans.
I'm missing something somewhere. I have no idea what's going on. I knew this would happen. I've been bricking
Roshi
it all
Chen,
evening.
Lindsay Hall, Lee Harris, Kelly Lonesome, David Thomas Moore, Yao Haijun.
But who the hell am I presenting it to? have no idea what's going on now.
I have the script.
Yeah.
But this is what Catherine would have said.
All right.
Fangon, thank you so much for that introduction.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry that I'm unable to be here in person tonight to announce our next set of awards, but I'm excited to be with you even as a pre-recorded version of... Our next Hugo Award is for the Best Editor Long Form. Eligibility for the Best Editor Long Form requires that a person must have edited at least 4 novel-length books devoted to science fiction and/or fantasy in 2023 that are not anthologies or collections. And this year's finalists for Best Editor Long Form Hugo Award are...
Roshi Chen, Lindsay Hall, Lee Harris, Kelly Lonesome, David Thomas Moore, Yao Haijun.
I knew this was going to happen.
The problem is that we don't have an envelope, so we can't tell you the winner is. You know what?
Can I accept on her behalf? Thank you very much. Thank you so much for this award that I accept on her behalf.
I think that's it. Are we done?
What are we doing now?
She's coming.
Oh, she's coming. Where is she?
Yes,
Come
ma'am.
on! Oh, look out!
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I just...
It's over to you.
Okay, so this is the next thing to read. After.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not 100% sure that I actually won this award. Thank you so much. I would first like to thank all of my fellow awkward people in the audience for whom seeing your face displayed 4 times in a row during technical difficulties would have been an absolute personal nightmare. But I am so grateful. I hope the envelope was accurate. If it's not, please ignore everything I say from now on. I also need 1 second to pull up the password on my phone. I'm so sorry. Seeing that on the teleprompter is also very humbling. Thank you so much. This is an incredible honor. Thank you first to my fellow brilliant editors. It is humbling to be in your company. 2 of them I was just sitting right next to, Kelly and Lindsay. I love you so much. To my friends and family, to every group chat who gives me shit when I deserve it and lifts me up when I need it, especially my partner Drake. I'm so sorry our 5th anniversary was me texting you stupid pictures from the Glasgow necropolis. To Glasgow, the Worldcon organizers, and the entire fan community who are gathered here and elsewhere, this has been a truly special weekend. Someone told me this felt like a return to form. The first Worldcon I went to was Chicago, which was the first one in person after a long break, and it has been amazing to be able to connect in person, face-to-face this weekend. Thank you to every single one of the authors I have been so lucky to work with. Some of you are in the audience tonight, and I've met you in person somehow for the first time after years and years working together. And especially to Emily Tesh, to Nevo, to Freya Marsk, and to Chelsea Polk, whose works are all up for this award tonight. I am rooting hard for you. You are brilliant beyond imagination, and you take me to the stars. To my brilliant students I got to teach at Clarion West this year, you restored my faith in the joy of writing, and I think many of you will be on this stage one day. And finally, to the editorial assistants, the assistant editors, the interns, people hoping to get into publishing, who sometimes will ask me for advice, and asking yourselves, hey, is this all worth it, this work that we do? I just want to say it can be. Stay in it. It is so true that the work can be really fucking hard. And many days you will just want to lie face down on your couch and not rise again. But for every professional punch to the face that you get, there is somebody who is kind, there is somebody who knows your work, there is a book, there is an author, there is someone whose writing you get to work on, who makes you reevaluate everything that you doubted, and you get to be part of something that will last longer than you are on this earth, and that is so special. So thank you to all of you. I hope the envelope was not a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. It has her name on the award. So apologies for that. I appear to be the voice of Catherine now, so congratulations. Next up is the award for Best Editor Short Form. Eligibility for the Best Editor Short Form requires that a person must have edited at least 4 anthologies, collections, or magazine issues devoted to science fiction and/or fantasy, at least one of which must have been published in the year 2023. The finalists for the Best Editor Short Form Hugo Award are
Scott H. Andrews, Neil Clark, Liu Weijia, Jonathan Strawn, Lynn M. Thomas, and Michael Damian Thomas. Yang Feng.
And the winner for the Best Editor Short Form Hugo Award is, I'm going to look at the award, Neil Clark.
They're right. Okay. Hi, I'm the other Clark that was mentioned, or at least one of the other Clarks. And I've learned my lesson. I have paper now. Okay. So it's been a rough time to be a short fiction editor lately. I spent much of the last year on the front lines of some of those battles, and it's not been pretty. I mean, what self-respecting science fiction fan reads our great works and decides, I want to create the Torment Nexus. And that it should write really bad stories. And that people should send those stories to me. And while this is going on, I have an evil bookseller decide to just cancel all our subscriptions. And then realize what a stupid move it was, but then double down and on that incompetence. So in that darkness, there has been some light. Our community has stood up and screamed against what's happened with generative AI and what Amazon has been doing, and it's been very uplifting. You've shown sympathy and outrage and confusion. I mean, short fiction is a get-rich-quick scheme. Come on. It's each time I was ready to toss my hands in the air and scream, enough, and walk away, some unexpected gesture pulled me back from the edge. And thank you to every one of those people. There's just too many to name tonight. To my wife, Lisa, who's in the audience tonight, breaking the curse so here's the thing. The only time I have won is when she's not watching. So she's broken the curse tonight. So thank you. And to my sons, one of which is here with me, and the other one is back home, probably throwing a wild party or doing whatever it is he's doing, probably watching video games, or this. And if you're watching, hi. To my mom and dad and the rest of my family who've always been supportive, confused, but supportive. To our readers, our authors, and our translators, some of whom are here tonight, and some of whom are up for an award later. To Sean and Kate, my Clark's World partners in crime and adopted siblings. to everyone on our team, our colleagues at Storycom and Science Fiction World, to our readers, listeners, subscribers, and a special nod to the print SF and fantasy Reddits that just took a load off my shoulder this week by pushing our subscription numbers back over the top. Thank you. It's been a year. You've made it so much better. Hugo voters, thank you. This means a lot, particularly now, particularly here. Short fiction's important. Keep supporting it where you can, and have a wonderful evening.
So, there would be a video from Catherine. In her words, again, congratulations. I wish I were there to celebrate with you. Now I would like to bring our chair back to the stage, and I'll leave. Please welcome Professor Esther McCullum-Stewart.
Could we just have a round of applause for Megan there? Thank you for rescuing my Hugo ceremony. Okay, hello again, everybody. So, our next category was first successfully proposed in 2021 as an example of a one-off award as Best Video Game. However, this year, in 2024, I'm thrilled to share that a new Hugo category has been added under the new title of Best Game or Interactive Work. This is open to video games, tabletop games, board games, and other interactive works published in 2023. And the finalists for the Best Game or Interactive Work Hugo Award are
Alan Wake 2, developed by Remedy Entertainment, published by Epic Games. Baldur's Gate 3, produced by Larian Studios. Chants of Sennar, developed by One Disc, published by Focus Entertainment. Dredge, developed by Black Salt Games, published by Team 17. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, produced by Nintendo. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, developed by Respawn Entertainment, published by Electronic Arts.
I'm going to blame Navi for that one. Never mind. So, Best Game or Interactive Work? Baldur's Gate 3.
There's a lot of us. There's a whole bunch of us. Thank you. Here. Don't stop it. Are we all here? Hello. So thank you. The Hugo nominees and awards have determined my reading list since forever. So it's a huge honor to be standing here. A lot of us were hoping to be standing here, but we didn't dare dream. I'm very grateful that you created this award and this category. Video game writing is often underestimated. It is very, very, very hard work. For Baldur's Gate 3, we had to create over 174 hours of cinematics just to be able to respect the choices of the players and to make sure that each and every single one of them would have an emotional story that was reflecting their choices and their agency. And so it takes a very long time. It takes a very large team. I mean, these are some of our writers. They're not all here today. So it's incredible, and it takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of talent. So I'm very happy for all of them and for all of the team back home that we can get this, and very grateful to the fandom and to Worldcon. Thank you very much.
it's also absolutely wonderful to have Samantha Bayard here as well, one of the voice actors. So now, I'd like to introduce our special guests, the three black halflings, who will announce our next set of Hugo Awards. Jasper William Cartwright, Olivia Kennedy, and Jeremy Cobb comprise this Crit Award-winning podcast team, who are on a continuing quest to explore diversity in the world of you know, I couldn't say this the first time either, and I teach this. TTRPGs. That puts the Black and BIPOC experience front and center. And for those of you who've listened to the podcast, while some of them call him Jeremy Cobb, I like to call him one of my next three presenters. So hello, halflings.
Thank you so much, Esther. We are delighted to be here tonight.
The Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form Hugo Award is given to a dramatized production in any medium, including film, television, radio, live theater, computer games, or music.
To be eligible, the work must be less than 90 minutes long, excluding commercials, and published in 2023.
And the finalists for the Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form Hugo Award are...
Doctor Who, The Giggle, written by Russell T Davies, directed by Chania Button, Bad Wolf with BBC Studios for the BBC and Disney branded television. Loki, Glorious Purpose, screenplay by Eric Martin, Michael Waldron and Catherine Blair, directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, Marvel, Disney+. The Last of Us, Long, Long Time, written by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, directed by Peter Hoare, Naughty Dog, Sony Pictures. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Those Old Scientists, written by Catherine Lynn and Bill Wolkoff, directed by Jonathan Frakes, CBS Paramount+. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Subspace Rhapsody, written by Dana Horgan and Bill Wolkoff, directed by Dermot Downes, CBS Paramount+. Doctor Who Wild Blue Yonder, written by Russell T Davies, directed by Tom Kingsley, Bad Wolf with BBC Studios for the BBC and Disney branded television.
And the winner for the Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form Hugo Award is... The Last of Us Long, Long Time, written by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. Directed by Peter Hoare, Naughty Dog, Sony Pictures.
For some strange reason, unfortunately, we're unable to send someone this evening. Pedro couldn't be here, so they sent the next best thing, which is myself. We will accept this on behalf of the committee. Thank you so much.
So exciting. Next up is the Best Dramatic Presentation Long Form Hugo Award.
This award is given to a dramatized production in any medium, including film, television, radio, live theater, computer games, or music, so almost the same as the previous award.
That's right, Jasper. But eligibility for this award requires that the work must be more than 90 minutes long, excluding commercials, and published in 2023.
And the finalists for the Best Dramatic Presentation Long Form Hugo Award are...
Barbie, screenplay by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, directed by Greta Gerwig, Warner Brothers Studios. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, screenplay by John Francis Daly, Jonathan Goldstein, and Michael Gillio, directed by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, Paramount Pictures. Nimona, screenplay by Robert L. Beard and Lloyd Taylor, directed by Nick Bruno and Troy Kane, Annapurna Animations. Poor Things, screenplay by Tony McNamara, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, Element Pictures. Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, screenplay by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Dave Callahan. Directed by Joaquim dos Santos, Camp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. Columbia Pictures, Marvel Entertainment, Avi Arad Productions, Lord Miller, Pascal Pictures, Sony Pictures Animation. 流浪地球2, The Wandering Earth 2, based on the novel by Liu Cixin. Screenplay by Yang Zhixue, Guo Fan, Frank Guo, Gong Ge'er, and Ye Ruchang. Script consultant Wang Hongwei. Directed by Guo Fan, Frank Guo. 中影创意北京电影有限公司 CFC Pictures Limited. 郭帆北京影业有限公司 G Film Beijing Studio Corporation Limited. 北京登峰国际文化传播有限公司 北京登峰 International Culture Communication Corporation Limited. 中国电影股份有限公司 China Film Corporation Limited.
And the winner for the Best Dramatic Presentation Long-Form Hugo Award is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Screenplay by John Francis Daly, Jonathan Goldstein, and Michael Giglio. Directed by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, Paramount Pictures. And they did try to come here tonight, but unfortunately at the last minute weren't able to make it. So we will once again be accepting this award on behalf of the committee.
Yep, this is for the 3-bit chat.
You got it?
This has been so much fun, but it's time for us to introduce the next presenter, special guest Tanya De Pass.
Tanya is a Hugo-nominated editor for Fireside Magazine and award-winning games content creator.
Tanya is also the founder and director of the Chicago-based nonprofit I Need Diverse Games.
Please welcome to the stage Tanya De Pass.
Go me, I didn't fall down the stairs. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Liv, Jeremy, and Jasper. The Hugo Award for Best Related Work is one of those categories that captures all of the cool stuff that doesn't fit into other categories. Specifically, the Best Related Work Hugo Award is awarded to a work related to the field of science fiction, fantasy, or fandom, appearing the first time in 2023, or which has been substantially modified in 2023. The type of works eligible include either nonfiction or fiction that is noteworthy primarily for aspects other than the fictional text and which is not eligible in any other category. The best related work Hugo Award finalists are
All These Worlds, reviews and essays by Neil Harrison, Branding Books. 中国科幻口述史 第2卷 第3卷 Chinese Science Fiction and Oral History, Volumes 2 and 3, edited by Yang Feng. 8 Light Minutes Culture and Chengdu Time Press. A City on Mars by Kelly Weinersmith and Zach Weinersmith, Penguin Press, Particular Books. The Culture, The Drawings by Ian M. Banks, Orbit. 雨果 X 访谈 Discover X, interviews presented by Wang Yating, Tina Wang. A Traveler in Time, The Critical Practice of Maureen Kincaid Speller, edited by Nina Allen, Luna Press Publishing.
And the winner is, if I can do this correctly, A City on Mars by Kelly Weinersmith and Zach Weinersmith, Penguin Press, Particular Books. Are you here?
Thank you.
I thought I was going to lose, so I didn't write anything down. Gosh, I guess I should thank my wife / co-author. We were a research team on this for 4 years. We have a bibliography that's 50 pages long, and I've been told by a lot of couples they would have killed each other, and we didn't. It worked out, and for those of you who know, she ran the Zotero, which was just beautiful. That's someone. And I guess I just want to say about this book, we were shocked that we were nominated because honestly, we worried we had pissed off all the people like you who grew up reading Heinlein and thought it was all going to happen tomorrow. And, you know, we feel we're honest researchers. We certainly have our biases, but we tried our best to follow the truth. And the truth is it's a lot harder than is commonly represented, often in prominent media. And we thought that was a story worth telling, despite a lot of pushback we got. And you know, maybe you all know the Richard Feynman quote that science is creativity in a straitjacket. And in the last 10 years, the idea of going to space to do all sorts of things has gotten a lot more feasible with the drop in cost due to reusable rockets and things like that. And so we've had a lot of time to dream crazy dreams. It's time to put the straitjacket on and do it safely in a way that doesn't cause damage to the home planet. Thank you.
Now we turn to the Hugo Award for Best Graphic Story. Best Graphic Story is a science fiction or fantasy told in graphic form, such as a comic book, graphic novel, or webcomic, and published in 2023. The finalists for Best Graphic Story are
Beowulf, written by Zach Weinersmith, art by Boulay, first second. Saga, Volume 11, written by Brian K. Vaughan, art by Fiona Staples, Image Comics. Shubeik Lubeik, Dina Mohammed, Pantheon, published in the UK as Your Wish Is My Command, Granta. 三体漫画第一部, The Three-Body Problem, Part 1, adapted from the novels by Liu Cixin, written by Cai Jing, Ge Wendi, and Bo Mu, drawn by 草记九日东, 浙江文艺出版社, 浙江 Literature and Art Publishing House. The Witches of World War II, written by Paul Cornell, art by Valeria Bozzo, TKO Studios LLC. Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, written by Kelly Sue DeComic, art by Phil Jimenez, Gene Ha, and Nicola Scott, DC Comics.
And the winner is, if I can get the envelope open, oh my God. Saga, Volume 11. Brian Kavanaugh, are you here? All right, if Brian is not here, then I will accept on the committee's behalf. Now I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Glasgow 2024, a Worldcon for Our Futures, guest of honor and award-winning science fiction writer, Ken MacLeod.
Tanya, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I cannot fully express my utter delight at presenting the next two Hugo Award categories right here in my home country of Scotland. Now, let's get to the Best Series Hugo Award, which is still a fairly new annual award. So I want to give a little extra context. The Best Series Hugo Award is awarded for multi-installment works appearing in at least 3 installments with a total of at least 240,000 words, and the qualifying installment must be published in 2023. The finalists for the Best Series Hugo Award are
The Final Architecture by Adrian Tchaikovsky, Tor UK, Orbit US. Imperial Ranch by Anne Leckie, Orbit. The Last Binding by Freya Marsk, Tor.com Publishing, Tor UK. The Laundry Files by Charles Stross, Tor.com and Orbit UK. October Day by Seanan Maguire, Dor. The Universe of Suya by Aliette de Bodard, Golanx, Jabberwocky Literary Agency Incorporated, Subterranean Press, Uncanny Magazine, etc.
And the winner of this, for the Best Series Hugo Award is Imperial Ranch by Anne Leckie.
I'm Rachel Swirsky, accepting on behalf of Anne Leckie, and thanks, Anne. Now I get to figure out how to get this back to the United States. Anne says, "What an amazing honor. I want to thank all my editors, Tom Bowman, Will Hinton, Priyanka Krishnan, Jenny Hill, Britt Hivda, who have all done so much to help these books be as good as they could be. And a huge thank you to my agent, Seth Fishman. None of this would have happened without him. I'd also like to thank the authors of the other finalists in this category, all amazing works by amazing authors. Beyond an honor to be in their company. But the biggest thanks I have is for my readers. When you're first writing and sending things out and hoping for sales and contracts, it's impossible to anticipate just how wonderful it is to discover that people resonate with your work, to find that in some cases it becomes part of their lives. Every time a reader has come to me at a convention or a bookstore and told me what these books have meant to them, or even just that they were fun to read, those moments are precious gifts to me, beautiful jewels, and I treasure all of those jewels, all of those moments, and all of those readers, which is why I treasured being a Hugo finalist and why I treasure this award. Thank you so, so much.
Next up is the Hugo Award for Best Short Story. The Best Short Story Hugo is awarded to a science fiction or fantasy story of less than 7,500 words and was published in 2023. The Best Short Story Hugo Award finalists are
Answerless Journey, 没有答案的航程 by Han Song, translated by Alex Woodend, Adventures in Space, new short stories by Chinese and English science fiction writers. Better Living Through Algorithms by Naomi Kritzer, Clark's World, May 2023. How to Raise a Kraken in Your Bathtub by P. Jelly Clark, Uncanny Magazine, January to February 2023. The Mausoleum's Children by Aliette de Bodard, Uncanny Magazine, May to June 2023. The Sound of Children Screaming by Rachel K. Jones, Nightmare Magazine, October 2023. 美食三品 Tasting the Future Delicacy 3 Times, 宝树 银河边缘 13 黑域密室 Galaxy's Edge Volume 13, Secret Room in the Black Domain.
And the winner for the Best Short Story Hugo Award is Better Living Through Algorithms by Naomi Kritzer.
Thank you so much. The idea for this story arrived during a discussion group I did with Creative Destruction Labs in early 2022. So I would like to thank SB Devia for connecting me with them. Thank you also to my husband, Ed Burke, for supporting and believing in me. And thank you to the Weirdsmiths Writing Group for being a fabulous community of writers that gives really amazing advice. And also thank you to Neil Clark for being an amazing editor. So something one of my readers pointed out about this story that I really appreciated is that what the AI in the story does over and over is to give people permission to do the things that fulfill them and make them happy. It gives people permission to spend time working on their art, to buy themselves flowers, to wear clothes that make them happy, to build communities. If this story spoke to you, I hope you take it as permission to do the things that feed your soul. Draw a picture, look at flowers, walk in the sunshine, organize an art meetup, swap recipes. Go forth and feed your soul. Thank you so much.
Now I'd like to hand it over to Glasgow 2024 special guest, T.L. Huchu.
Thank you, Ken. Whew, we're nearly there now. I can't believe we're almost at the end. This has been a bit mad. Next up is the Best Novelette Hugo Award. Best Novelette is awarded to a science fiction or fantasy story between 7,500 and 17,500 words, which was published in 2023. The Best Novelette Hugo Award finalists are
I Am AI by Ai Jiang, Shortwave. Introduction to 2181 Overture, Second Edition, 2181序曲再版导言 by 故事 Translated by Emily Jen, Clark's World, February 2023. Ivy Angelica Bay by C.L. Polk, Tor.com, 8th December 2023. On the Fox Roads by Ni Vo, Tor.com, 31st October 2023. One Man's Treasure by Sarah Pinsker, Uncanny Magazine, January to February 2023. The Year Without Sunshine by Naomi Kritzer, Uncanny Magazine, November to December 2023.
And the winner for Best Novelette is The Year Without Sunshine, Naomi Kritzer.
Okay, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel incredibly honored. This story meant a lot to me, and I've been really moved by how many people have responded to it. In addition to my husband, Ed Burke, and the members of the Weirdsmiths Writers Group, I want to thank Hadar Copley-Woods, Betsy Lunston, Christy Ann Cox, Marissa Lingen, and Sigrid Ellis. All of them subject matter experts on disability who generously offered feedback on various iterations of this story. The story was inspired by listening to disabled friends talk about the stories that made them feel like everyone around them saw them as disposable. I wanted to tell a story where the reason that everyone survives is because they come together to support someone who needs help surviving, and it isn't because the person that they saved conveniently turns out to have some unique skill that they urgently need at the end. Because I have read stories like that, and it feels like the moral is you sure picked the right person to save, instead of no one here is expendable. And I wanted to write a story about how coming together for mutual aid can save a whole community, because I absolutely believe that it does. I sent this story first to Uncanny, which published it and had more subject matter expertise that once again made this a stronger story. The Uncanny editors, Lynn and Michael Thomas, were the parents of a really lovely young woman named Caitlin who died this past April. Caitlin was a light in the world. She was someone who had the gravitational pull to create a community of caring that made fandom a better place. The story was not about Caitlin, but it exists in part because of Caitlin. Thank you.
Congratulations, congratulations. And now for the Best Novella Hugo Award. Best Novella is awarded to a science fiction or fantasy story of between 17,500 and 40,000 words and was published in 2023. The Best Novella Hugo Award finalists are
Life Does Not Allow Us to Meet, 人生不相见 by 何西 Translated by Alex Woodend. Adventures in Space, new short stories by Chinese and English science fiction writers. Mammoths at the Gates by Ni Vo, Tor.com. The Mimicking of Known Successes by Malka Older, Tor.com. Rose House by Arkady Martin, Subterranean. Seeds of Mercury, 水星播种 by Wang Jinkang. Translated by Alex Woodend. Adventures in Space, new short stories by Chinese and English science fiction writers. Thorn Hedge by T. Kingfisher, Tor and Titan.
And the winner for the Best Novella Hugo Award is Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher.
Those of you who have heard my acceptance speeches before are going, oh God, what is it going to be this time? You'll find out. Thank you all so much. I am extremely touched and honored to win this. As some of you may know, I had a bout of rather aggressive breast cancer last year, and I'm fine now. It's fine. We're all good. Happy ending. Thank you, but my surgeon and my organs did all the work. I was just along for the ride. But it is very nice to win this instead of winning it, if you know what I mean. So I would like to thank the people who made it possible, which are my editor, Lindsay Hall, my agent, Helen, my husband, Kevin. You're all awesome. No book is ever written just by the writer. Okay, some of them probably are. Don't at me. And I just want to apologize to the person doing the subtitles right now. But I wanted to talk to you today about, since Thornhedge is a book about a small person doing a very important but overlooked job, I wanted to talk about a small creature that does an important and overlooked job. And I am speaking, of course, of the noble sea cucumber. If you are picturing a sea cucumber right now, you're right. It is a tube sock made of meat full of water and innards. Most people probably know they can expel their guts at predators, but I will point out some of them not only can expel their guts at predators, but the guts are then tipped in a venom that causes the predator's cell membranes to explode, which is a really neat trick when you don't have a brain and only have about 5 neurons doing all the job. You don't really need that much of a brain when your job is to sort of glorp through the sediment and eat organic matter and stir up the sand. But as it turns out, that's really crucial to ecosystems, because if you remove the sea cucumbers from an area, the oxygen levels in the water drop by 60%, and that's a lot. Fish suddenly are wondering why they're short of breath. Seaweed can't grow. And it also turns out that since sea cucumbers have this amazing digestive system, they're eating sand and then excreting better sand. And they're dissolving calcium carbonate into the water, which coral actually needs to grow. So if you get rid of sea cucumbers, suddenly you have no coral and no oxygen and no fish and no seaweed. Actually, if you can go down far enough into the super deep dark, 90% of the biomass is sea cucumbers. They're called sea pigs. They're transparent. They're really cool. You should look them up. But I will point out it is not always easy for the majestic sea cucumber. Some of them are edible, and they are being overfished with all the knock-on effects about oxygen and so forth, and we should probably stop overfishing them. But also, there is a fish called the pearl fish. And you see, on the seafloor, okay, somebody laughed, and that person's a marine biologist, and they know what's coming. On the seafloor, housing is at a premium, and a sea cucumber is basically an RV made out of meat. And things would like to live inside of it, including several species of fish. They burrow their way in exactly where you're thinking they do, and they just kind of hang out in there. And there are, in fact, some species of pearlfish that can only reproduce if they meet inside a sea cucumber's cloaca. So this is not the weirdest adaptation nature has come up with, so this would only be kind of an interesting footnote, except that fish are hungry, and the sea cucumber's innards are right there. And they grow back. Everything grows back. That's why they can expel their guts at predators. All their innards grow back. Their gonads grow back. But the fish are right there and still hungry when they grow back, and it turns into this horrible invertebrate Prometheus situation. And this is a lot, even if you don't have a brain. But evolution is an arms race. And so some species of sea cucumber have evolved a defense against these fish, which is called by scientists anal teeth. It's exactly what you think it is. It is to bite anything going in through the back door. I tell you all of this not merely to share the glories of nature, but because if I have to live the rest of my life with the image of sea cucumber butt teeth in my head, so do all the rest of you. Misery loves company. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.
I always wanted to learn about sea cucumbers. Finally, I would just like to bring back to the stage our chair, Professor Esther McCallum, who will present the final award of the night.
Okay, I'm hoping they can bring the Hugo out because the ushers are laughing so much that. Okay. Oh, so here we are at the end of the night with just the Hugo Award for Best Novel to present. I have in my hand. Before I announce the finalists in this category, because I just want you to wait, I want to take a moment to acknowledge all of the finalists tonight. They're an amazing and talented group of people, and I'd just like to pause for a moment and reflect on how incredibly impressive the entire list of Hugo finalists is this year. It's literally a best of the best list of what our genre has to offer, so please join me. I also want to acknowledge all of the other people who have created art, fiction, words, games in 2023 that have helped to produce the robust and vibrant speculative fiction community that we have become. There are so few slots available on an awards ballot, and there is so much amazing work being created around the world for fans to enjoy. So thank you, everyone, for your art, your games, your words, and your talent. We are better for having all of you within our midst and adding your voices to this community. Now, for the Best Novel Hugo Award. Oh, I'm not going to open it yet. I need to. The Hugo Award for Best Novel is awarded to a science fiction or fantasy story of 40,000 words or more, which was published in 2023. And the Best Novel Hugo Award finalists are...
The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty, Harper Voyager and Harper Voyager UK. The Saint of Bright Doors by Vajra Chandrasekhara, Tor.com. Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh, Tor.com and Orbit. Starter Villain by John Scalzi, Tor and Tor UK. Translation State by Anne Leckie, Orbit US and Orbit. Witch King by Martha Wells, Tor.com.
Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh.
Wow. I am going to be honest, I just wrote a speech on my phone because it suddenly occurred to me I might need one. And I did talk to someone, I think earlier today, I said, what on earth do I do if I win? What do I say? And we concluded that you could just quote the birthday speech from Lord of the Rings and say, well, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half. And then you could run away pretending to be invisible. And I promise you that if I am ever lucky enough to find myself in this position again, that is what I shall do. But you only win a Hugo Award for the first time once, so I probably ought to take it seriously. Wow. I must begin with thanks. I need to thank my family, especially Luke, James, and little Katrina, who is 3 months old, so she was not born when I was writing this book, and I miss her, and I've talked about her all weekend. I have to thank my agent, Kirsten Armada, the best advocate anyone could hope for. my brilliant Hugo Award-winning editor, Roshi Chen. So brilliant and such a well-deserved Hugo for Roshi tonight. Thank you to all the teams at Tor and at Orbit UK for all the work they did in creating a book. Is so much work by so many people, and I am so grateful. Thank you to the Glasgow WorldCon and to the volunteers and everyone who's made this night possible, and thank you to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking part in this amazing ceremony and being part of this amazing community. I don't know very much about sea cucumbers. I feel like I should probably say something about the book I wrote, something about Some Desperate Glory. Here is my hope for this book. I hope this book disappears. I hope it joins the honorable, very honorable ranks of past Hugo winners, which spoke to a particular community at a particular time and not to all of history. And I hope for that disappearance because no one sets out to write a science fiction dystopia wanting to be proved right. And Some Desperate Glory is a book which was inspired by some of the worst of what is happening in the world today. It is comforting, especially if you are a bookish sort of person, which I think many of us are, to believe that books can change the world. I have to say that with the possible exception of Karl Marx, I think very few writers of books can really claim to have shaped history. What a book can sometimes do is change the heart, sometimes as a comfort and sometimes as a spur. And comforts and spurs alike move people, and what actually changes the world is people. And I can imagine few places, few communities more full of vision and energy and hope for the world than this community here in Glasgow tonight. I wrote Some Desperate Glory, imagining, if you like, a bad end. I am so pleased that games are a permanent category. I love a video game. I love a bad end. I imagined the worst possible outcome of what humanity could become, some of the worst of our species' cruelty, brutality, hatred of outsiders, and love of power. Tonight, I'd like you all to join me in imagining instead the best, which is something science fiction can do and has always done. And through and because of that power of imagination, I ask you to act in whatever way you can and whatever way is right for you to support the victims of violence and warfare around the world, in Gaza, in Ukraine, in Sudan, and in many other places, to support the victims of cruelty and intolerance close to home, including here in these islands, where that solidarity is dearly needed right now, especially for the victims of the recent racist riots and for those targeted by the concerted transphobia of some parts of the UK media. I wrote humanity's bad end, and I call upon you all with perfect faith to prove me wrong. Thank you.
Amazing speech. Thank you so much. I'm going to go and cry. Go and cry, and then have photos. Wow. What an amazing couple of speeches to end. That was just amazing. Okay. So, thank you, everybody, for a wonderful evening. Just as we wrap for the evening, just a reminder for the finalists to remain behind so that they can have photographs taken. But as the audio cue rushes upwards, but I would like to thank all of you for coming this evening, and I would like to thank all of our finalists and all of our winners for an absolutely spectacular evening. Wasn't that amazing? Please join me in a round of applause and do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Would the winners and presenters please return to the stage for photographs?